Hey y'all, it's Miss Denise, the Boss Lady here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much. Today I want to discuss a topic that I feel like we all need, but might be hard to talk about. Being in a toxic relationship doesn't just break your heart. It changes the way you move. We learn how to shut down. We learn how to expect betrayal, and we learn how to operate in survival mode. And after a while, I think it starts to become normal. If you find that you're always pushing people away, bracing for the worst, or you find yourself trying to control situations to avoid getting hurt, this video might be for you. Stick around, let's get into it. So first, let's start by acknowledging our wounds without letting them rule us. So it's okay to admit that we're still healing, right? But we don't want to project our past partner's actions onto our next partner. This person didn't hurt you. You don't want to penalize or punish them for another person's choices. So we just need to make sure that we're conscious and fair when it comes to carrying over that hurt and that pain. Even if you're still healing, you can communicate it without letting it be driving you. It's not okay to let that be in the driver's seat and leading your personality in the way that you communicate and deal with and love other people. If you can't manage and moderate that, then you should take some time. Let's talk about setting emotional checkpoints. So when we talk about managing these things, it's important to set emotional checkpoints because we need to take time to, pause and think before we react. We may have something that causes some sort of jealous feeling or feeling of distrust, and we need to stop and think hey, is there a real threat? Am I reacting to something from my past? Am I reacting to something that I'm worrying about? Where are these emotions coming from? We don't want to communicate in a way that feels like you're just dumping something on to someone that they can't even associate with because it's something that you've created. So let's talk about challenging our inner narrative. With challenging our inner narrative, we have to check our mindset. Sometimes jealous feelings come from thoughts that we may have created for ourselves, right? I am not good enough, or they might leave me. I challenge you to challenge yourself. Let's challenge ourselves to think about whether those fears are rooted in reality or if they're unreasonable because they're rooted in fear. So let's talk about communicating with vulnerability instead of accusations. When we talk about communicating with vulnerability instead of accusations, I think it's important that we remember, that we can't control others. We can only control ourselves, right? And when we communicate, if our end goal is to gain understanding and cooperation, we have to approach it as such. So something minor, like liking pictures on social media. Hey, I don't like when you like girls' pictures. It's gonna come off a lot different than when I see things like that. It makes me feel like this. What can we do? How can we work on this? Your partner's actions may not always be with the intent to hurt you. If you're feeling hurt, you can communicate your hurt in a way that your partner can tend to that, and they can make a choice to adjust their actions. Alright, so let's talk about rebuilding our self-worth outside of our relationship. Remember to tend to your hobbies, the things that you love to do. Take care of your home, take care of your body, take care of your mental. Enjoy yourself, your whole self, so that your feelings and your moods and your health, wellness, all of that isn't entirely wrapped up into a relationship. You may have the best partner in the world, but it's still not fair to expect for them to be the only thing holding you up. You have to hold yourself up. And then your worth comes from within. Do not attach your self-worth to your relationship to the point where you are dependent upon it. That's not fair to your partner. It's not fair to you either. Let's talk about limiting comparisons, especially online. We live in a world of AI and social media. Listen, there's only one you, so try not to compare yourselves to other people too much. It's okay to be inspired by someone, but don't create a jealous web in your head that you can't get out of because you scroll social media and you compare your reality to someone else's highlight reel, or you compare your casual day to somebody's full glam day, or you're comparing your natural bare face to somebody's filtered face. It's really hard these days when everything is, it's in the palm of your hand. So make sure that you're secure, and the person that you want to be is based on you and not on, what you're seeing that may or may not even be real. And let's talk about how jealousy does not equal love. Listen. Jealousy and suspicion are not signs of love. They're signs of fear. Sometimes we might think, oh, I like my person a little bit crazy. I like my person a little bit jealous. We got to remember that jealousy does not equal love. It doesn't. Jealousy isn't rooted in love. It's rooted in fear. If you find that you're having negative thoughts about your partner and they haven't necessarily done anything to spark that, try replacing those thoughts with thoughts of gratitude. Think of 3 things that you love about your partner, or 3 things that your partner does very well for you. Gratitude helps rewire our brains for abundance, so we have to train that like a muscle. Think positively, especially if it's unwarranted. Make sure that you check it, take pause, I'm not even mad at this person. Here's what I think about this person for real. Sometimes we have to reset, return ourselves back to what's real. Because again, like what we talked about before, we don't want those internal thoughts. Take that emotional checkpoint and have a moment of gratitude instead of a moment of jealousy, which may be the onset of a conversation that you don't need to have. We need to know when to seek therapy. Sometimes things are past where we can manage them by ourselves, and we need a little bit of help. We need to be able to talk to someone that can't share the information that we're sharing, and we just may need help understanding or resetting. It's totally okay to seek therapy. So just know when it's outside of your control and you need help. So I feel like it's become a trend, talking about red flags. Let's talk about some green flags. So a couple green flags I want to point out are like open and consistent communication. When you don't feel like you're always the initiator, and your partner reaches out to you, lets you know they think about you, shares information without you having to pry, uses communication as a tool to help you feel secure. That's a green flag. Celebrating your independence and covering you in your time of need. Those are green flags. Sometimes we encounter the red flag of men like, small in order to make themselves feel better. But when a man can balance celebrating your achievements and your independence while also the delicate part of you that is a woman that may sometimes need to be covered by him, that's a green flag. I wish I had a green flag to wave for that, but green flag. Another green flag, showing up when it really matters. They say that men are about action, and sometimes we can be a little whiny. Sometimes our needs are big to us, but they're not urgent, they're not important, and not saying all, but I'm just saying your man might be super busy, but if you have a serious need for his presence, no matter what that is, like an emergency or a family event or something that you guys plan, no matter what sparks it, and he is consistently available when it matters the most, that's a green flag. Because there are some people that might sit around every day, like literally every day, and then when you really need them, they can't come through. Another green flag is a person that can apologize sincerely, not just somebody that's apologizing to end an argument or apologizing to gain some sort of advance, but is apologizing because they hear, they understand, and they care. So a person that can recognize your emotions and offer you sincere apology when it's appropriate is definitely a green flag, and it's not something that we should take advantage of. Make sure that you show appreciation for your man if he's emotionally aware. Another green flag is this person, brings calm energy when they come around. You feel a lot more, they make you feel secure and calm instead of feeling chaotic. Pay attention to that type of energy. When someone comes around and you're always unsettled, or you're always frustrated, or you can't get anything accomplished, versus someone that when their presence is around, it makes you feel at ease. That's a green flag that we shouldn't ignore. And lastly, ladies, we got to make sure that we're doing the inner work, whatever that might be, self-care, therapy, whatever it looks like, so that when you do find this person and you are brave enough to open up, let them in, let them love you, and let go of some of those toxic behaviors, you're also ready to reciprocate and return that energy, right? Because men need love too. All right, y'all, thanks for being here. You are loved. God is love. Be well.